Hello everyone! As you may be able to tell from the video in the background, it is in fact a redrawing of a speed paint I made many years ago. Now, you may be wondering, how long ago could this video have been made? And the answer is, I think I made it in 2010, which would have been about 9 years ago. I wanted to use this old video in order to make a new video, not only showing how I have improved, but also just to talk about my old YouTube videos, which I was making back when I was about 12 years old, which was 10 years ago. If you've been following me for some time, you may be aware that I used to be very interested in Vocaloid and Utau. This was reflected in many of my older videos, as well as some of the older videos that were on this channel as well. I made an absolutely wild amount of my own voice banks for Utau, and many of them were not very good quality, simply because my microphones were always pretty questionable quality. But as you can already tell, many of my old videos were in fact Utau covers of Vocaloid songs. If you aren't really aware of what either of those are, they happen to be voice synthesizers, or instruments that use voices to make music. While I was never especially interested in music, I was in fact interested in Vocaloid, which may be as far as my interest in music actually went, because it was pretty intense. I not only made many voice banks, but I also designed many characters for these voice banks. I would say I designed upwards of 20 Vocaloid fan characters even. I of course delved into other topics for YouTube, such as animation memes. However, my animation skills were not, and still not are, very impressive, so my videos were nothing special to look at. At some point, I also acquired several Vocaloids, and I made my own covers with Vocaloids. Unfortunately, I have not been able to continue this, simply due to the fact that Vocaloid has you register your product to one computer, and before I took the hard drive out of my computer at the time, I did not unregister the product from my computer. Anyway, I also did do other speed paints for my older YouTube account, and as you can tell from the old speed paint in this video, it happened to have been in a different program. While I think I was using Paint Tool Sci at the time, the program this was recorded in happened to be Photoshop Elements, which I haven't heard from in many years. I'm a little worried about its status, but it's all good. Photoshop Elements I only acquired due to my purchases from Wacom with my tablets. In particular, my Bamboo Fun tablet, I think, is what got me this program. Once again, this was many years ago, so both the tablet and the program happen to be way out of touch with modern technology as well as modern art programs. I am actually not so sure why I chose to record in that program when I was already using Sci, because once I switched to Sci, I preferred it very much so to the Photoshop Elements. Photoshop Elements was not a very good program for making art, as it still would not be nowadays. Instead, it is best suited for photo manipulation, which I also used it for. I will admit there was a time when I made photo manipulations of pictures I found of cats off of Google in order to match those descriptions from the Warriors book series. I may do this with other speed paints I did from my old accounts. However, there were not many I made, unfortunately, because I do enjoy looking back at the process I went through to create my art. I know my old art around this time when I made my old speed paint also happened to be of a very tiny resolution, Think a few hundred pixels times a few hundred pixels. So this, along with my inferior computer at the time, mixing together, you can understand that my speed paints and other videos were nothing quite interesting or impressive to look at. I do, however, look back at them fondly. I enjoy seeing how far I've come, not only with my recordings, also with my animation and my art and my general video editing. What you can't see in this video is a part of my old speed paint that I happened to cut out because it was kind of a cinematic-esque movie credit scene scroll, or whatever you may know it as. Basically, I put credits at the end of the video, scrolling up and down. That was basically crediting myself for making the art and the video. It was a little unnecessary given that at the time YouTube still allowed descriptions, as I think it always has. It was also really poorly put together, as I think I used Windows Movie Maker to create it. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say for this. So, thank you for listening and watching. I hope this was a little bit interesting, and I hope that you could enjoy it. Goodbye.